I think for normal people like you and me, it can be almost impossible for us to conceptualize of the unfathomable cruelty of this regime. We could never operate like these men do. Our consciences would not permit it. The violence, the dehumanization, the exploitation, the cruelty that they are so eager to revel in feels literally unbelievable. It is hard for us to believe that people could be this awful. It feels a lot like when I was a kid and I was first learning about the horrors of, 1930s, 1940s Germany. I could not believe that people could be that cruel. The things I am watching this regime say and do are on that level. And I want to give you a quick example. The director of ICE said he envisions Amazon-like mass deportation systems, like Amazon Prime, but with human beings. And these men are emboldened in their cruelty by yesterday's SCOTUS ruling. Trump immigration officials tout expanding the Alien Enemies Act while courting private contractors for mass removals. Greedy men want to do a capitalism off of violating people's rights, stealing their freedom from them, and shipping them to a gulag in El Salvador. They want to get rich off of the suffering of innocent people. They delight in that prospect. I'm going to read from this article from Michigan Advance from today. The leader of Immigration and Customs Enforcement said that his dream for the agency is squads of trucks rounding up immigrants for deportation, the same way that Amazon trucks crisscross American cities delivering packages. We need to get better at treating this like a business, Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons said, explaining that he wants to see a deportation process like Amazon Prime, but with human beings. And we knew after Trump got elected that there were businesses who were salivating at the idea of getting government contracts around what ICE is doing. Men who were desperate to build and run detention centers, to run the fleets of vans, snatching people off the street, to charter the flights that are shipping people to America's Auschwitz in El Salvador. They were giddy at the idea of getting rich off of all of this. When I say that capitalism is a system that is built off of exploitation and you cannot have it without human beings getting rich at the expense of other people's lives and well-being, this is exactly what I mean. This is the final boss of capitalism, right? This is the big ugly monster. We are seeing what is truly there, what the full manifestation of capitalism actually is. Because these guys want to take the military-industrial complex and they want to funnel as much of it into the private sector as possible. They want the private sector to be running mass deportations. They want the private sector to be running concentration camps. We need to buy more beds. We need more airplane flights. And I know a lot of you are here for that reason, he said. Let the badge and guns do the badge and gun stuff. Everything else, let's contract out. And again, when they say private sector, what they really mean is these businesses will be taking our tax dollars to violate the human rights of people in this country, immigrants, folks who are here with green cards, permanent residents, and American citizens. It is about taking our tax dollars so that they can get rich off of violating the human rights of people in this country. I mean, this is the technocrat vision to take away all of the government programs and put them in the private sector so that our tax dollars are making these people wealthy. Donald Trump calls the working class the parasite class, but all of these corporations that are frothing at the mouth trying to get government contracts so that they can enact harm against the most vulnerable folks here, they want our tax money. They want our hard-earned dollars so that they can run their businesses. And their business is causing suffering. They are in the business of cruelty and they want to take money out of your paycheck to fund it. I would like to point out that the director of ICE also said the possibility of family detention is still on the table. This is giving World War II Japanese internment camps. They want to take entire families and put them into concentration camps. Here in the U.S., I know there's one being that had been talked about being built in Texas. I don't know what the progress is on that as of now. And I'm sure as well they would like to ship folks across the border because if they can rendition folks to another country, as I said in another video, the term is not deportation, it's rendition. They can put you somewhere where there are fewer human rights and there is less oversight, fewer protections, and you have no due process. They want to take entire families dads, moms, and little kids and put them in concentration camps. They're itching to get the government contracts to be able to do that. Again, I think it is really hard for the average American to conceive of the level of cruelty that these folks are excited to get rich off of. It's really hard for us to believe that these folks can sleep at night, being in the business of violating people's rights and inflicting suffering. I mean, this would be a really good time for everybody to rewatch Zone of Interest, or to watch it if you haven't yet, to really try to get your head wrapped around the banality of evil, to understand how ordinary people can become so exceptionally cruel and enjoy profiting off of the suffering of others. And just like sleep really well at night, not be troubled at all, and think that this is the good life. Because that's what we're seeing from MAGA, we're seeing from folks in this regime, that they think they are living the good life. They think that this is really fucking awesome, that they're going to get these government contracts and get rich off of violating people's rights, off of putting families in concentration camps. Yeah, if you've not seen The Zone of Interest, you should watch it. It'll give you a really good understanding of how these folks are doing what they're doing now. But it's important to not minimize the exceptional cruelty of this regime, to not minimize the ease with which these folks will violate your human rights, will inflict harm, bodily harm, suffering, death upon innocent people. I guarantee you Elon Musk and Doge have not lost one bit of sleep about the millions of children that are now dying from vaccine preventable diseases, a lack of access to clean water, and starvation because of Trump and Musk ending USAID. I guarantee you that doesn't bother them at all. It keeps me up at night, but it does not bother them at all. I think reminding people and ourselves of the unbelievable cruelty that these folks want to enact, the ghastly, horrific goals that they have set for themselves, and the way that they're like excited about carrying them out, and how untroubled they are by them. That is something that we need to keep at the forefront. I think it's really important. It helps us remember the urgency and the severity of the situation, and how we have no choice but to act. For both the vulnerable people in America and abroad, and for the soul of this nation. We cannot get numbed to the awfulness of what they want to do. We cannot minimize it. We must look it in the face, and we must resist it.